the email sign-up form pop-up thing that we worked on last time. It's going to be this thing, except we're going to make one that goes along the bottom this time. I'm also going to probably test this one a little bit. So we'll see how it goes. So here are all the different versions. And right now I have this version. I have this pop-up. And right now on desktop, what will happen is it's not going to pop up right away on the exit intent, right? But if you wait for about 8 seconds, then you try to exit, it's going to pop this up. So I feel pretty good about that one, right? So maybe we'll put in like a little to-do stream right here. So as far as the like desktop modal or like exit intent email sign up modal, I think we're good. I think we feel good about this. But on mobile, I'm a little concerned because on mobile what happens is slightly different. So we'll refresh there. Obviously we can't get exit intent on mobile because, oh, I forgot to send a message to just one person. Okay, so obviously we can't get exit intent here, right? Because there's no mouse movement here. And the way we capture exit intent on desktop is through mouse movement along the top of the screen. So I think the answer here is this. So we're going to wait 8 seconds, okay? And then if someone scrolls up a lot, so this is like almost the full page, then we're gonna pop this up. So that means they're probably done with the article. They're probably looking for the navigation. So they want to like change the page. Or maybe they're just like scrolling up to like review the whole thing or like see an earlier example. And then at that point, that's when we pop up the exit intent. Now I feel a little bit different about this one because it requires so much scrolling, right? And then I just don't want to interrupt the flow, right? So if you're scrolling to the top to get to a new page and then I pop this up, is that going to distract you from, you know, the other page, the other research you want to do? So I just kind of, I don't know, I feel a little bit weird about that. I guess what I would feel better about, so here is, what are we doing here? So there's a couple things. Oh yeah, we want this email sign-up specification, but we have this in here, inside of our to-do. Oops, open up all these things. Okay, so we have this. I think for mobile, so for mobile we don't feel great. It's less than ideal. And if we have this other thing here somewhere. It's like a local storage helper library. Local storage, nothing here. I know that I saved this local storage thing somewhere though. Here we go, local storage DB. Okay, so let's uncomment this. I think what I might want to do with mobile is if you visit one page, this is just a consideration. So if you visit one page, you're scrolling around. So let's go to like remakeTheWeb.com. So if you go to this page and you're scrolling around on mobile, and nothing, you want to go to a different page. You go to this page, you're scrolling around, you go back up. I feel like at that point, then maybe you want to pop it up, right? Because they're interested at that point. They've gone to 2 different pages. They've kind of seen what's going on. They're definitely interested to some degree, right? Okay, so I think that would be good. So for mobile, it's less than ideal. I think what we want here is like at least 2 page views before popping up modal. And that's where the local storage database comes in. So first of all, I think this could probably be a little bit better. So database name, I think we'll just call it local DB, just so we definitely don't interfere with anything else. I guess we could even like put something else in here, like ABC database or something, or some random string even. Yeah, I kind of want some like random string generator. Sure. Oh, those are only numbers. Okay, uppercase and lowercase, not numbers. Okay, so let's pass in this after database. And then set item, we've got item name, item value. Is database available? We're going to get the item from the database. If it's not available, we're going to set item to database equals this. I think that's fine, but I think we could instead, I think there's a different way to do this. That's a little bit simpler. So local storage, so I think we should start off with database object, and then have that equal to, and that's going to be JSON parse this. But that it's possible that this returns nothing, right? So if we do here, local storage, get item, and we pass in some random key, that's going to be null. If we do a JSON parse on that, Camula and Mr. Rorig, welcome to the stream. Thank you guys for stopping by. Let me know where you're coming from, what your day looks like, what you're working on, etc., etc. Oh, and look, this actually looks pretty bad on mobile. What is up with that? Is that really how bad it looks? No, I was zoomed in. Okay, my bad. But I do want to zoom in on my console. Okay. Okay, so if I do JSON parse on this, what, I get null? So if you JSON parse a null value, it just returns null? Null is valid for JSON. That's, okay, that's, I didn't know that. I'm not sure that's going to be the case in every browser. I guess this is fine, how it is. Is database available? If it's not, I don't think we need to set it here, though. I think we just need to say current database object equals, Yeah, and we'll just do database object. Equals, is database available? If it is, we're gonna, yeah, and we can just say database string, and we can say if there's a database string, then we're gonna parse the database string, otherwise we're gonna return an empty object. Then we're going to put the database, the item inside the database object. So that's going to either be our parsed value or our object. And then, so that's item name equals item value. And then we're going to do local storage set item database name JSON stringify database object. That makes sense. Now for the get item, we're going to say the same thing. So we're going to do database string equals get item database name. That's fine. I do not think we need this. Sullivan, hey, welcome to the stream. How's it going? Welcome, Sullivan. I think you're actually the only one here. Huh? Oh no, sorry. I just welcomed these other people. Camula and Mr. Rorig. Rorig. And Flipcoder, welcome. Hey, how's it going? Glad to have you guys here. How are your days going? How's life? How's the weather? It's pretty nice over here. Actually, beautiful, beautiful day over here. Sullivan is deep diving through code today, trying to figure out how this custom little system works. Is that like when you say custom little system, do you mean it's like their whole framework, or do you mean this like you're actually going through a little system today? Yeah, reduce pollution, totally. Also, New York City reported like a record. They had no pedestrian deaths in like 54 days. Oh, nice. Okay, the whole framework they've built for use in the games. That's awesome. So yeah, you're trying to figure out how that all works. Okay, so we're gonna do. Sorry. So yeah, that's really. So yeah, what is it like? Is it like big and complex, or is it you're linking accounts, so you want to be sure you don't scroll up something else on the side. Oh yeah. Yeah, those like custom pieces of code can be really tough sometimes. Because, you know, they have all kinds of just like little side effects that, you know, someone just needed at the time. And then, yeah, all of a sudden you have to make sure, yeah, you're not running into any of those. You're causing some other issue for someone down the hall. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to pass in database name there. Then we're going to do init local storage here. And we're going to pass it in like database name and like that and like this. And depending on the dev, they made 2 to 3 versions of the same function, but with a tweak. Oh my goodness, yeah. Yeah, no, that definitely requires refactoring, but that's also super hard to do, especially if there's a bunch of different teams, because they're already relying on the way it works. And so if you refactor, you have to make sure you maintain the exact same API, which can be difficult. Like that can be super difficult. But yeah. Oh my goodness. Sounds like you might need a versioning system so that you can pull in like older versions of the code, like for older games, and then you can update them for newer games. That would be kind of cool. Pemui Sire Malaka. I don't know what that means. I think it means something bad though. But welcome to the stream. I don't know how to say your name either. If I said it in American English, it would be Pes Mue Sire Malaka. Is a sign-up form made with Remake? Unfortunately, no, it's not. I could, well, no, it doesn't. Yeah, it would. That's something. That's actually a feature I'm planning to add to Remake is the ability to support sign-up forms out of the box. Of course, you could add it to Remake right now, a sign-up form. Or sorry, not a sign-up form, but like an email collection form. But you know, because like it's just based on Node.js, so you would just have to add the backend yourself. Not necessarily. You could do it in Remake, but it wouldn't be ideal. But right now, no, sorry. So what I'm doing right now is making sign-up forms for like all my different websites. So I've got Remake the Web, I've got blog.remaketheweb, I've got my personal site, davidmiranda.info. I've got like all these different websites where I kind of just like want to collect email addresses of people that come there for like all my different side projects. And so this sign up form is like a customizable little plugin where you can put in an image, you can put in a title, you can put in, you know, the text of the sign up button, and it's just going to pop up, you know, when someone's exiting the page. And we're trying to be really gentle about it, really polite about it. But I've read in a lot of different places that exit intent pop-ups outperform like everything else. So I'm experimenting with it. And then we're also going to have this little sign-up form along the bottom of the pages. And so these are just like sign-up forms for like marketing pages, just to try to get more email addresses, you know, so that, yes, so I hear you. Exit intent pop-ups are the worst. I totally hear you on that. I have felt the same way in the past. However, now that I'm actually running a product and trying to collect email signups, and every email signup matters, I'm trying to make them polite. So I'm trying to make it so, you know, it's not going to trigger right away. It's not going to trigger, yeah, and yeah. Yeah, totally. But so it's not going to trigger right away. It's going to wait for a set amount of time. We're thinking maybe 8 seconds, maybe 15 seconds. So it won't trigger at all in the beginning. Yeah, no, totally. I get that. And that's part of what we're working on. So if you want to, you know, contribute to this code, I would love your feedback. So one of the things actually I was talking about when no one was on the stream yet was on mobile. So on mobile, it's actually impossible to do exit intent because on mobile, there's no mouse movement, right? So you're just like scrolling around, and the only way to tell if you're going to exit the page that some people have thought of is if you scroll down and then you scroll up just a little bit. And then that kind of means that you want to see the URL bar, and then they'll pop up the exit intent. Now, I don't like that approach because that's way too aggressive. If you're just scrolling down the page and then you scroll up a tiny bit, I don't like that. So I'm thinking two things to prevent that kind of approach. One is that, first of all, on mobile, we're not going to trigger it right away no matter what. So, you know, we're going to wait at least 8 or 10 seconds. Then the second part, so you see it just popped up there, is you have to scroll up quite a bit. So let's wait another 8 seconds here. You have to scroll up like half the page. And we're actually gonna, I didn't like that either. So we're gonna implement a third preventative measure. And I might scrap this whole thing on mobile altogether. I don't know, I'm just trying to get like a few more newsletter signups. You know, for every like 100 people that visit the page, if like just a couple more sign up, then all the traffic I'm driving to these pages, all the content I'm building around these pages is going to matter so much more. Okay, so let's see how long it takes to trigger. So if I scroll up 1 paragraph, 2 paragraphs, 3 paragraphs, 4 paragraphs, 5 paragraphs, 6 paragraphs. So it's like 6 paragraphs until it triggers. Now that's still too much in my opinion, but I think it's a lot better than just scrolling up a little bit. Because you're probably wanting to go to the navigation of the page, or something like that. You're not exiting the page necessarily, but you're interested in the content. You're probably wanting to go to another page. Now, the other preventative measure I want to add, which is why I'm using this local storage database, is I want at least 2 page views before popping up the modal. Oh, and the other thing is, once you close the modal, it's gone. Like, it's not going to pop up for you for a while, for at least like a full day or two. Yeah, we'll probably do like maybe 2 or 3 days. So once you close it, it's just gone. We're not going to bother you again if you didn't want to sign up the first time. And the same thing for the email thing along the bottom. And we're going to make it so you have at least 2 page views before you're popping up the modal. So what we're thinking is, so let's say you're on remaketheweb.com. Let's say you're on mobile, right? So you're on mobile. You come to the home page. You kind of like the home page. You're like, okay, this is kind of cool. And then you go to the features page. And then you scroll down. And then you scroll all the way back up. Then we're going to pop up the exit intent. And I know even then it's kind of annoying. And I get it because I've been annoyed to no end. To no end by exit intent pop-ups. I hate them every time they pop up. However, from the perspective of a content creator, from the perspective of someone, yeah, so I've thought about that too. Flipcoder, I'll talk about that in 1 second. From the perspective of a content creator who's trying to get a business off the ground, every new email sign up matters a lot. So if you can encourage just 5% more people to sign up for your newsletter, it can totally transform how much business you're getting, how many people are trying your product, how much activity you're able to assemble. That being said, I don't feel great about this, guys. So, I mean, I understand the pushback, and I might just disable it altogether from mobile. Now, Flipcoder makes a really good point. Why not just have it pop up at the bottom? Because we do have this bottom pop-up. And this will pop up, I think, after 10 seconds. And once you close it, again, it'll be gone. And so that way it doesn't obstruct anything and you can keep scrolling. And this is kind of more appropriate for mobile, especially. So why not just do this on mobile? So that's a really good point. The thing that ended up happening is that I had a design, and this is a really bad excuse, but I had a design for this modal on mobile. And so I wanted to implement it just because I had the design. I didn't actually think it was the best thing to do, which is why you can see in my code, I have enable mobile exit intent. And it's currently set to true, but all we have to do is say false, and then boom, it's turned off. And it's false by default, right? So let's just confirm that it's false by default. Yeah, so it's false by default. So yeah, I've already felt bad about this. So I think, it's true right now. It's turned on right now. But I think what I'm going to do is, and the only reason it's true is because I designed the modal for mobile and I just wanted to try it out. And I think there are some cases where it might make sense, right? But yeah, it's a really good point. Maybe we just don't have it, right? Maybe, we're going to disable it probably anyways, and we'll just have the one along the bottom. So why is it even worth spending this time doing this? I do kind of like implementing the 2 page views thing though, because I think that's even a little bit more polite. And then we can turn it off anyways, right? So we'll turn it off anyways, but at least we'll have the uber polite way of doing it before we turn it off. Okay, so I'm going to finish this local storage thing. This local storage database is going to help us keep track of page views, help us keep track of the time someone has been, not on the site, but how long it's been since they've last dismissed the modal, so that we can make sure not to trigger it for a few days. And I think that's it. Yeah, if it's dismissed, so that's the main thing we want to keep track of, is if it's dismissed. So that's what local storage is going to be. But I also want to keep track of page views here too. So we have the database string. We're going to get the database object. So this is we're gonna just do the same thing here. JSON parse, local storage get item database name. And if it's not there, we'll just return an empty object. And then we're just going to return database object item name. And that's going to be undefined if the database hasn't been set yet. Okay, so now we've got this init local storage db thing. We're going to make a new file for this, local storage db.js. We're going to grab this, paste this here. Okay, and then we're going to load this into our HTML so that we have this little local storage database that we can use in all of our code. But yeah, feel free to keep making me feel guilty about this, because I totally understand and agree that it probably shouldn't be on mobile. Okay, so local storage, oh yeah, we gotta delete that database name. Oh yeah, and let's also grab that and put that in main.js, or not main.js, we want to put this in here. Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, so just a final point, when do you get annoyed with exit intent? It's when you're exiting the page. So you're not it doesn't really matter that much to the company that you get annoyed. I'm not saying it's great even for that, but from a business perspective, you're already leaving, right? I mean, do you think, I guess my question is, do you think if someone has an exit intent modal, do you feel like they're more slimy of a company? And so you're definitely not going to sign up and you're definitely not going to be back to that website? Because if that's, I mean, I kind of feel that way, but I don't even know if I ever really follow through on that. I don't really think I do. And most of the time when I see exit intent, I don't see it on a blog or a tech product. If I see it on a tech product, usually I'm going to sign up because I'm usually interested in that tech product or that tech blog. So I kind of feel like it's fine, I feel like it's fine on tech products because I'm much less annoyed. Whereas on clothing websites or something, they'll usually pop it up really aggressively. And it's usually something I don't really care about, like, oh, get 20% off on this, shirt that you didn't even really want to buy. Whereas with a tech product, it's oh yeah, I do kind of want to know more about this tech product in the future. Signing up for this newsletter is kind of like setting a bookmark. So, I don't know. I mean, I feel I understand what you're saying, but I just don't know. Okay, so for the local storage database, we need init local storage, and then we need, but I mean, I'm totally up for more arguments about it because I can still be convinced, I think. Local storage DB. I don't know if this is what we should call it, but we'll go with it. Local storage DB. But yeah, I mean, I could be convinced of making it even more polite and pop up even less often. I'm mostly inspired by, I'll show you guys this article I read on indie hackers. It was really inspiring as far as exit intent goes. So if I search for indie hackers, so this person claims that when you give something in return for newsletter signups, some people wouldn't like that though either. Yeah, so I agree with that too. And this person actually is doing that. So I think that's a really good idea. I was thinking about having a remake cheat sheet. Hey, Crazy Toe, welcome to the stream. I have a crazy toe too. But yeah, no. I was thinking about doing like a remake cheat sheet as a giveaway, but then I feel bad because I'm like, shouldn't a remake? Sarwin, thank you for subscribing, for following. I mean, that's awesome. Thank you very very much for that. I really appreciate it. Um, so yeah, giving something away totally. I was thinking about a remake cheat sheet, but then I was like, no, everyone should have access to the remake cheat sheet. Like, why would I put that behind, a sign up wall? I should just like put that on a regular page, right? I would love people to learn more about remakes attributes and stuff. Um, so I don't know. It's a little bit hard to think about like something I would give away that I wouldn't just want everyone to have access to. But I don't know. Maybe it's this. Maybe I put the remake cheat sheet available for free, right? It's on the documentation page. So you can get to it, right? It's just a tab that says remake cheat sheet. You can go there. You can download it instantly. But also, it's something that you can subscribe to. Hey, um, do I know you, Sarwin, or where are you coming from? Are you coming from MakerLog or Product Hunt or somewhere else? But anyways, welcome to the stream, and let us know what you're up to, what you're working on, how your day's going, how the weather is where you're at. Anything you want to share with us, we would love to hear. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, so that's the Indie Hackers article, if anyone wants to read it. It's just talking about how, that it made a huge difference for them to have an exit intent pop up. Okay, local storage DB set item, and then we're going to have a get item. Okay, and now we should have access to this. And we're going to just init local storage. I don't know what we called it exactly. Init local storage. Okay, we want this to say database, I guess. Init local storage database. And we're going to pass in the database name. Database name. Okay. Boom, right there. Okay. So we pass in our database name, initted local storage, and now, right after that, this is kind of silly actually to do it this way. Why don't we just, instead of here, we'll just return get item and set item and get item. So now we can just do, you make the cheat sheet a nice looking colored one and then use a basic black and white one in the docs. You're not getting less info, just a nicer one. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I think I can also just like, honestly, just have the exact same copy in both places and like most people aren't going to actually go through all of the docs pages, and it could just be a nice thing to just like pop up, hey, you get it. You're from France, totally new here, and learning the web development, a baby. I don't know if that means, oh, you are a baby. Okay. I think that's what you're saying. If you're having a baby or you are holding a baby or something else, but I think you're saying that you are a baby in terms of you're totally new. That's really funny, and yeah. Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, let us know what you're building and what you, yeah, a baby to web dev. Yeah. um, but yeah, let us know like what you're building, what you're hoping to build, what you are interested in, like in terms of web development. We would love to help you out. We have a lot of, resources we know about for learning different things. Nice. So you're not, yeah, okay. You're not A baby who watches Twitch. Okay, that's good to know. Welcome to the stream, The Stone Cold Man. Thank you for stopping by. Let us know what you're up to, what you think about, what you like doing, etc., and we will help you work on whatever you're working on. So now we have this local storage database. Let's, I just want to test this out, right? So, yeah, we'll set it here. Just for debugging purposes, we're going to just add it to window. And then if I refresh this, uncut, okay, cannot set item for set item. Set property, set item of undefined. Oh, right, of course, because I didn't set this to an empty object first. Okay, so now this works. So if we do local storage db and we do set item and I choose some kind of number and I put in 6 there and then I do get item, I'm going to get back 6 and it's going to be an actual number, which is pretty sweet. So this is, our database seems to be working. Let's try setting like an object and we'll set that equal to, so dates aren't going to work, that's the thing, because dates don't work in JSON, but we could store the date as like a number, which would be fine. Commander Root, welcome to the stream. Were you here before? I think I saw that pop up before, but if not, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. How's your day going? So we'll say name, and then we're going to do Peter. And now if we, oops, we did get item on that. So we're going to do set item, and then we'll do get item. And we got name back with Peter. Now, if we get the other item, we want to make sure that it wasn't overwritten. So it wasn't overwritten. Why wasn't it overwritten? Because this is setting. So the way our database works is database name is totally behind the scenes, and we're just setting keys and values on an object. So that object is always being extended. But if we did something like object name David, that is gonna totally overwrite it. Or if we, did something totally different in here, like animal rabbit, that's still going to overwrite the object. Well, not then, but now. Which is fine with us. I think that's totally fine. So let's go back. So we know our database is working, or we're pretty sure our database is working. We're not absolutely positive. We might run into some issues still. And I guess whenever this loads, this exit intent email sign-up form, I think what we're going to do is count that as a page view. So we're going to say page views equals get item. Shimashiro, welcome to the stream. Thank you for stopping by. Really appreciate it. And we're going to say page views. And we're expecting this to be a number, but we might get undefined back. We definitely will get undefined back the first time. So we're going to say or 0, I guess. And then we're going to... Oh my god. I'm very, very sorry about that. I really gotta have a quicker mute button. I actually did just install something for that. I'm really sorry about that if I blew anyone's eardrums. I tried to cover up the mic. I tried my best, but I think I was still pretty loud. Geez, I'm sorry. So we're gonna do page views plus equal page views. And then we're gonna set item. equal to page views. It wasn't loud on my end. Okay, that's great. That's awesome to hear. Maybe I cover the mic. I'm going to be faster with that mute button. I'm sorry. Oh no. I woke up your cat. I'm very sorry. I use a compressor. What is a compressor? I really don't know what that is. Compressor. Audio. Oh, and then like I could just. Oh, that's funny. Oh, that's interesting. Huh. Is there like a digital compressor? Maybe. I don't know what this is. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna look into it. So I'll pin this. Compressor streaming. Okay. I'll pin that for later. Okay, so set item, page views, page views. So this will handle keep track of page views. So we're getting it, we're increasing it, and then we're setting it. And then let's just console log it, right? To see if it works. So we'll do that. We will refresh this. Page views are not increasing. Plus equals. Wait, plus equals 1. So it was just adding 0 to itself. Okay. So now we've got page views increasing every time. So yeah, so now I think we can say if page views, so we're only gonna do the exit intent if it's enabled, and if page views is greater than 1. Okay, so let's I don't have set item here. Okay, so window set item equals set item, so that we can reset this. So we're going to do set item page views is equal to 0. And so now if we refresh, I think page views should be 0 still, or 1. I guess it will be 1. So let's look. Now we have 1, but it's only going to trigger if it's greater than 1. So this should not trigger now for mobile, even though we have it currently enabled, I believe. Yeah, we currently have it enabled. So even though we're scrolling up and scrolling down, it's not going to trigger. Definitely not triggering the exit intent. Now if you go to a different page or you refresh this page, now we're going to get page views 2, and now it's going to be able to trigger. Boom, there, now it triggers. Okay, so that's good to know. Or that's good. I think that's a polite thing to do. We're gonna commit this code. And we'll feel pretty good about it. I don't feel great about it, but we're gonna disable the mobile pop-up in general anyways. But this is just maybe for future use. Maybe we'll maybe we'll do it a little bit. Yeah, maybe we'll add it back for like some site that needs it or something. Or at least I'll have the option there if I want to. Okay, so there, let's see, page views, so non-triggering mobile pop-up. Mobile pop-up on first page view. And we could actually pass this in as an option too into, where is our init? So init email sign-up forms. We could pass this in as is greater than 1. Okay. Yeah, let's do it. So let's say enable mobile exit intent on only or I don't know, enable mobile exit intent on page view on minimum on min page view, I guess, and we'll default that to 1. And then on, I don't even know if that's a good name. I don't think that's a good name. But we'll do that. We'll pass that in there. Digital Crazy, welcome to the stream. Thank you for stopping by. Let us know what you're up to, what you're learning about, what you're thinking about, anything you want to start a conversation about, we want to hear about. So let me know, Digital Crazy. Okay, so now we have that as a default. Okay, great. So not triggering mobile pop-up on first page view. And we have this local storage DB. Great, so let's commit that, push that out. Now the next thing we want to do is make sure that it's forgotten if you close it. So if you close the modal, which can be done by clicking the X, it can also be done if you click the overlay, but that's false by default. I don't know what you guys think about that. Okay, and let's just keep track of the time that it was closed. Can I use date now? So date now, we've got it in everything down to Internet Explorer 9. So I think we're good with date now. So when we close the modal, we're going to say keep track of when the modal was closed. And we're going to do set item set item, and we're going to say modal closed date, and we're going to pass in date dot now, which I believe is going to be the number of milliseconds that represents today. So now we have this, and now we're going to make sure that it doesn't trigger for at least, we'll say 2 days after it's closed. So a day in, or let's say 24 hours in milliseconds. We'll do 48. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I guess we could do it manually. So we have the Google result here. Oh. Well, let's just, that's weird. That's really funny. So on mobile, it gives like a result I like better. That's funny. Like it spells out the full result. But okay, so we're gonna have 1,000, so that's gonna equal 1,000 milliseconds is 1 second. Then we're gonna have times 60 is minutes, times 60 is hours, and then times 24. So that looks like the same. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. Okay, so that looks like we're doing 1 day, and then we're going to do 2 days. Okay, so now we have 2 days. And let's make sure, actually, 48. 1728, I think is what we got. Yep, with so 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. Okay, so that's 2 days. So if the modal was closed, we do not want to trigger open modal. And I guess the question is, so it's only going to trigger once on the first page load anyways, but like, do we wrap all of this in an if then? Or do we just put this in the open modal? We're doing some extra stuff inside of these. This is a really difficult part because here I don't know, it would feel right to me to just add this into the open modal. But I feel like we're going to save on performance if we just wrap both of these here. And these only trigger once. I've detached the event listener in both cases that detects the on-exit intent. So I think we can just wrap these if it's been a certain amount of time. Okay, so I think that's the right approach. Yeah, let's do that. So let's say const modal was closed in past 2 days. Okay, so now we have this amount of time. So this is going to equal 2 days. So we'll do const 2 days in milliseconds. Modal was closed in past 2 days. So this is going to be, this is always difficult for me. So if we get date.now, and I want to know if it's been at least a minute, how do I do that? So then I'm going to say, okay, so let's save it. So we'll say old date is going to be date.now right now. Okay, so that's 11:30. So at 11:31, how do we detect that it's 11:31 or later? We're going to do old date. I really don't know how to do this. So old date is going to be always less than date.now, right? So that should be true because now should always be further along. But what we really want to know is if now is a minute later. So we want to know if old date plus 1,000, no, not 1,000. 1,000 is 1 second. So we want 60 times 1000. But that should be true soon. It does now. Oh, that's a good point. Date dot now minus old date. So now it should be true. Boom. So yeah, that's actually a really good smart way of doing it, solvent. So date dot now minus old date, and we're gonna see if that is greater than 60 times 1000, which is equal to a minute. That makes a lot more sense to me. That is such a nicer way of thinking of it than the way I was thinking of it. Okay, cool. So Modal was closed in past 2 days. So this is going to be, so we're going to get the old date. So we'll get the modal close date. Dat Mink and Vice Cooper and Basve Wollenberg, welcome to the stream. Thank you for stopping by. So we're gonna say, yeah, and guys, let me know if you have any questions, or if you're just getting started, let me know if there's anything we can do to help you, if you're working on a project, anything like that. Okay, so we're gonna get the old modal close date. So we'll say modal closed date equals, and we'll get the item. So that's going to be a number, but it might be nothing. So we only want to do this operation if we have a modal close date. And we actually want to have this be flexible. So this is going to be modal was closed in past 2 days. This is going to be default to false, and this is going to be overwritable. And then we'll get the modal close date. We're only wanting to do this calculation if we actually have a modal close date. And that is definitely going to be greater than 0, because we're not in, I don't know, 1970 or whatever, 0 was in terms of time. So we don't have to worry about that. So we're going to say modal close date, and then we're going to say time. We'll say like time between dates. That's fine. I'm fine with that. And then we'll do date dot now minus modal close date. So that's going to give us the time between dates, and now we just want to know if the time, so we'll say if modal close date, Muster Freak and Mr. Rorig, welcome to the stream. So we're going to say modal close date if time between dates is greater than 2 days in milliseconds, then we're going to say modal was closed in past 2 days. This is completely false, by the way. I just totally messed this up. So, modal, right? I did, right? Modal was closed in past 2 days. Yeah, this is if it wasn't closed in the past 2 days. And I'm not even setting this to anything. Okay, so modal was closed in past 2 days. False. So yeah, so we want to wrap this in this. So we want to say if it wasn't closed in the past 2 days, you can continue with all of your nonsense of detecting the exit intent and popping up the modal. Oops. So we're good with that. But if it was closed in the past 2 days, we don't want to do anything. We don't want to trigger anything. So if this is set to true. However, what we're detecting right now is time between dates. Oh, God. I hate programming sometimes. It makes me feel really stupid. Okay, modal was closed in past 2 days. We get the modal close date. Okay, modal was closed in past 2. This is definitely what we want to know, right? Yes. Okay, so we get the modal close date. We get 2 days in milliseconds. So basically what we want to know is if there's a modal close date, it's likely that it was closed in the past 2 days. So I don't know why. Okay, so 2 days in MS. We want to know if it's less than 2 days. So so it was just this little greater or less than. We want to know if the time between the dates, so the time between the modal close date, which let's say was just a minute ago, right? So that's going to be 60,000 milliseconds. So if 60,000 milliseconds is less than 2 days in milliseconds, then the modal was closed in the past 2 days. That should be true, and then this should not trigger, right? So we're going to say if negative true, so that's going to be equal to false. If this was set to true, so then we won't go through with this. Okay, so we're going to say exit intent events and figure out if modal was closed recently, and we'll say don't trigger modal if it was closed recently. Okay, so that looks good. I do want to change the name of these a little bit. So get item local storage, just so they're more obvious, like what's happening here. Local storage, and then I have to change the names here. Local storage and local storage. Okay, so now if we are actually, wait, so yeah, I also want to just set these on window so that I can play around with this. Set and set. Okay, great. So now if I refresh this, we're going to get an error, because we always do. Okay, yep, local storage DB. So I didn't change the name for everything. Yeah, of course. The export. Okay, there we go. Now if I, so now if I get item local storage and I try to get the modal close date, I'm actually really, really proud of this little local storage DB. It's really convenient. Super convenient. It'd be kind of cool to like sync that to a backend and then just use that as backend, you know? We don't need this console log right now. Okay, so on click modal backdrop, blah blah blah. Where's the item we're getting? We want to get this guy, modal close date. Okay. It's undefined, so that's great. Now if we scroll, wait, is this disabled by default? I forgot if we're disabling that. No, we're not disabling it on mobile, so it should trigger. Okay, so it triggered Rimastino, welcome to the stream. Virgo Pros, welcome to the stream. Elia Pasquale, welcome to the stream. Okay, so let's get this item, modal close date. We don't have it yet because we haven't closed the modal. We close it now. Now we have the modal close date here, and if we compare this to date.now, we're going to get 14 seconds, which is going to be far less than this number, which is 2 days. So our modal should never trigger again. So if I refresh the page, because it will never trigger the same time on the same page load. That's just completely disabled. And we've waited 8 seconds, and I'm scrolling around. This shouldn't trigger. And just to make sure that this is what's happening, let's just console log modal was closed in the past 2 days, and we're gonna just refresh, and that should be true. Boom. Awesome. So this is turning into, I think, a really good modal library, or like not modal library, but like really good exit intent library, because I feel like it's like respecting people's wishes, but also, you know, achieving its goals. I think it's still not ideal, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Okay, so making sure modal doesn't pop up if it's closed. Doesn't pop up for 2 days if it's been closed. Okay, so we will commit that. Okay, so there's a couple more things we need to do. I guess something I do want to do is document this a little bit. So I want to say a polite exit intent modal or email sign up modal. Okay, and here are the rules. So rule number 1 is, and we'll just put rules. So rule number 1 is never, yeah, actually we can embed this into the actual rules. So we're passing in the bottom bar countdown time and the modal countdown time. And those are defaulting to 8, but someone could pass in 0. And I think I want to like ensure countdown times are a minimum of 8 seconds. Okay, and we're going to do bottom bar countdown time is equal to, and we're going to say if this is greater or equal to 8, greater or equal to 8, then it's good, right? I don't know, this feels repetitive. Divinations, welcome to the stream. I guess that's fine. There should be a better way to set a minimum, but that's fine. We'll just do that, and then we're going to also do that for the modal countdown time. So it's a minimum of 8 seconds. Okay, so never trigger an exit intent pop up before 8 seconds has passed. That's great, and now that's enforced. The next thing, okay, so I guess just to describe this, we'll say this is a customizable email sign-up form that pops up as a modal and along a bottom bar. Yeah, so that's what we'll say. So never trigger an exit intent pop-up before 8 seconds has passed. The next thing we want to say is that on mobile, don't never trigger a modal pop-up unless there's been at least 2 page views. And even then, I think it's kind of a bad practice. But that's fine. On mobile, let's say consider never triggering a modal pop-up. If you do, don't do it unless there's been at least 2 page views. Okay. We'll say this library will make sure there's been at least 2 page views showing interest and show interest in your website before the modal will be triggered. Okay, that's fine. What else do we have in here? So, oh yeah, this is an accessible, customizable, and accessible email sign-up form. Okay. Page views, we got this open one. We got the slide in. We've got the modal close date. Yeah, let's put in a few more details about this. So we'll say features, and we'll say like politeness rules, even though that's not the thing I want to say yet. What is another word for politeness? Like you're kind or you're courteous, courtesy rules. I don't know. Okay, but the features are the same or very similar to micromodal. Oops, I didn't mean to show that. Okay, micromodal JS. I forgot that was another thing. Okay, so okay, you can enable modal on desktop as well as mobile if you want. And exit intent modal. You can enable clicking on the backdrop on the overlay. Modal overlay. Can enable clicking on the modal overlay, dismissing the modal. Yeah, I think the modal is always dismissed. Oh, that's funny. I can't actually trigger this without clearing local storage. Local storage. Okay. So yeah, I think it's always escaped. I think it's always you can press escape to dismiss it. Man, what the heck is going on with this? So I look at local storage, database, page views. Oh, it's just one, so it's not going to trigger. So that's good. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, wait, 8 seconds. Okay, now it should trigger. It's not quite 8 seconds. Okay, there we go. Now if I press escape, it does work. Even though there's no escape on modal, on mobile. The user can press the escape key or the large close X to dismiss the modal. It will not appear for at least appear again for at least 2 days. Okay. Let's see. What is anything else? Focus. Sure. Okay. So I think that's all the basic modal features. We add this in there. I have add submit on click modal backdrop on key down. We make sure it's been at least 2 days before we trigger this. Oh yeah, there's another thing we can add here, which is modal. I should say modal. So never trigger a modal. We'll say the. Never triggering the modal. Exit intent modal. Never trigger the exit intent modal. What was it? I forgot what it was. Oh yeah, twice. Twice on the same page load. But this kind of goes along with this modal is accessible. So for 8 seconds on mobile. Didn't I have another one? Oh yeah. So the modal, here we go. The modal and form will bottom bar. The modal form and bottom bar form will never appear twice, never appear within 2 days of being dismissed. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That covers that one. The user can press the escape key or the large close X inside either form to dismiss the modal. To dismiss them, we'll say. The modal form and bottom bar forms will never trigger before 8 seconds has passed. On mobile, it's strongly recommended to not enable the exit intent modal. If you do, however, if you do, this library will ensure there's been at least 2 page views on your website. That ensure visitor interest before the modal exit intent modal will be triggered. Okay, and I think we can actually maybe change it. Let's say 3 page views. At least 3 page views. And I'm going to change that. Enable mobile exit intent on page view, and we'll say 3. So there's been at least 2. And we'll say greater or equal. So before it had to be greater than 1, now it has to be greater or equal to 3. And if we're doing that, I think I do want to bump this up to maybe 1500. And I want to say if max scroll y is greater than 3, I think like you've scrolled down through most of the page, right? So maybe it's 3000 and your current scroll y. So max scroll y minus this is greater than 1500. Max scroll y minus current scroll y. So you've scrolled greater than 3000 down the page. We'll say 3500. We'll say 3000 because this is at least page views, 3 page views. So what would happen on a mobile page that isn't very long? Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I'm thinking here. I mean, the thing is like I don't want it to pop up a lot on mobile anyways, and I think it's going to be more annoying on mobile than it is on desktop. But most mobile pages are at least 3000. Like if you look here, well, this might not be a good one, but like this page is pretty small. And let's see. So if we look at the Windows scroll Y, yeah, so it wouldn't trigger there. Yeah, I could do it as a percentage. I don't know. I feel like on small pages, like, I don't know. I'm okay if it doesn't trigger. Yeah, no, you guys have good points. Let's just delete that. I don't want to put that much, I don't want to put that much effort into this because I feel like it's a feature I'm not going to enable by, by default, or that I'm just not going to enable on any of my sites. So I'm not really super, yeah, like I'm not super attached to making it like great. But we'll say 1500. So it would still be able to, well, it wouldn't be able to trigger on this on mobile. But on a page that's slightly longer than this, if you scroll all the way to the bottom and then back all the way to the top, it would be able to trigger. And I don't know, I'm kind of okay with that. I don't know. Okay, we'll change it to 1000. Okay, so this modal is accessible. Let's go to micromodal.js again. Remestino, welcome, and develop it with us. Welcome. So close modal on overlay, click. Okay, so we toggle the aria hidden, aria hidden attribute on modal. We trap tab focus within the modal. Or after toggling, maintain. I feel bad just copying this. Maintain focus position before and after toggling modal. Okay, and we focus. The first focus element within the modal. Make me rich now. Welcome to the stream. I wish I could do that for you and for me. That would be great. Okay, so now we have the politeness rules. I think we've covered everything in the actual code. And we're actually enforcing, or not enforcing, but we are strongly encouraging at least 3 page views for mobile, which I feel a lot better about. I feel like that's going to be a lot less annoying. Okay, so let's commit this, and I do have to go soon, unfortunately. On min page view. Oh, I actually page enable mobile exit. Yeah, I renamed that, so that wouldn't have worked. Okay, so I do have to go soon, unfortunately. Yeah, unfortunately. Unfortunately, we didn't get to work on readme with politeness rules. Unfortunately, we didn't get to work on the bottom bar modal, which I really wanted to get to today. I thought I would definitely finish this, but we did do a lot of work. I mean, we wrote out the whole README. That's going to make it much more usable for people. Well, we came up with, I think, some pretty good rules for mobile, and we decided to disable it on mobile for me, but I do actually want to just make sure it works on mobile first. So if I look at local storage, we've got page views 1. This should not trigger even after 8 seconds, so let's just make sure we wait for at least 8 seconds and then try to trigger it. That should do, I think. That's definitely been 8 seconds. Okay, so we'll try again. This is page view number 2, so this should also not trigger. And I just want to make sure there's no JavaScript errors, as well as that it just works. Oh, and I did enable it, right? Yeah, okay, good. Okay, so we'll refresh one more time. Now we're on our 3rd page view, so now it shouldn't be able to trigger right away. But after, there we go, after 8 seconds, it is able to trigger. So I feel like that's pretty good. I feel much better about that than just triggering it on the 1st page view. So that was awesome that we added that. But we are going to disable it now that we've made it work. We can also delete these ones because they're hard, the minimum is 8 seconds. So it's only if we want to make it more than 8 seconds that we should change that. We made this local storage DB. That was awesome. Really proud of that. And next time, so I think I'm going to stream. I think I'm going to stream on Saturday instead of tomorrow. So I think on Saturday I'm going to stream for a couple hours instead of doing it tomorrow. So if you want to stop by, feel free on Saturday, so 2 days from now. Also, I do want to mention before I go, there's gonna be a game tonight and tomorrow at swarmation.com. Oh, Swarmation.com. So we're gonna play this pixel formation game that a friend and I put together tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern and tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern. If any of you guys want to stop by, especially tomorrow, maybe just sign up for the reminder at the top of Swarmation.com, and it'll remind you tomorrow night. Hoping to get together like a really big game tomorrow night, and join the Discord too if you want to hear about it, because I'm going to try to put together a pretty big one tomorrow night. So tomorrow, Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern, come join us for a huge game of Swarmation. Okay. So yeah, I'll just post that there, and then let's find someone to raid, right? I feel like that's a fun thing to do. I think there was this other streamer who I really liked, BeginBot. Yeah, I think this guy is where it's at. Okay, so we're gonna go to, I think I can only do it through here. So we're gonna do raid, and then here. Okay, let's do it. Let's raid this guy. He's really good, by the way. Super, super good. Anyone else want to join? Do you guys have to join it? I think you do. Anyone want to join the raid? It's going to be awesome. Okay, let's go. Nice. Okay, see you guys.